Welcome to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Spartans! What is your profession?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
It's time!
New Day with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated, and HLAC certified to the highest standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics in and around the metro area. Walker Medical Linen Services in Kansas City and online at walkermls.com.
Texans, Cowboys.
Stroud is under center. He gets the snap. He hands off to Mixon, runs laterally, far side. They'll chase him in for 6. Touchdown, Mixon. 1 yard touchdown run. He's got 2 tonight, and the Texans lead it 13-0. Less than a minute to go in the first quarter here in Arlington. The shotgun snap. He turns and throws a pass inside the numbers. Flag is thrown. 50-40. This is a great run downfield, and all the way to the other end of the field going is Cavante Turpin. Caught that ball and flew with the flag thrown on the play back at the 45. A catch and run of 64. He bolted through that defense, and nobody touched him. 4th and 2. Dallas is at the 8 of Houston. Rush is in the gun. There's the snap. Rolls out of the pocket. 5-man rush. Cocks his arm. Throws incomplete in the end zone. Flag thrown. It's a hold.
Holding
on Dallas.
Offense, number 86. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is first down, Houston.
And they lose it on downs, and they took 3 points off the board. Rush in the gun. Through the air, 22 of 40. Drops back. Hit from behind. Ball jarred free. But then it was picked up, and then it was knocked free again by Petrie. And then picked up on the play by Barnett. He'll run from the 20 to the 10 to the 5. Houston has scored on a fumble recovery touchdown by Derek Barnett. Multiple hits. Ball jarred free. Texans have taken a fourth quarter lead, 26-10.
Just have to see about Pacheco as the week goes on here, Omenihu as the week goes on. As far as the film study of the game, the review, feels similar to what I felt after the game. There were some good things that took place, but there were some things that we need to work on, especially when you're playing a good team like that, where every series is an important series, whether you're on the offensive side or the defensive side. And any mistakes can get magnified tenfold because of that. And you've got to make sure that you're sharp, and whether it's assignments or execution. And we can do better in that area. We can do better as coaches of making sure our guys can be put in positions to do better, and to maybe back off a little bit on certain things that we've been doing. So to help the players out so that they can play a little bit faster.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. Just hours after Jake, Lebo, and I all failed in our attempt to buy Jack White tickets in the fan presale, but I will not be deterred. I have plan B, I got plan C, I got plan D, I got plan E. I was almost buying tickets to Omaha yesterday until Susan yelled at me. Susan and Lebo both yelled at me when I was on the phone with her.
And I was encouraging you.
You were down the hall trying to get me to buy tickets to go see him in Omaha. And then Lebo said no. And then I called Susan, and she said no. And then I said yes. And she said, what's wrong with you? And then Lebo said, doesn't everything always work out? I said, yes, it does. So I got a lot of hooks in the water, baby. A lot of bait in the water. I'll get a nibble. I'll get a bite. It's just such a small venue. I can't believe Jack White's playing the Uptown Theater. Unbelievable. But there's so much time.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
It's not till April, so.
You said you had a lot of plans. I bet Lebo wanted to hear a lot more about Plan D.
Yeah. I got them all. I got everything figured out. I'm just very impatient. I just want to know. I just want to have it. You know? I don't know. I'm not sharp enough to follow what you're doing.
I was trying to get Jake up with the D's nuts joke, you know. I was the only one on that wavelength, apparently.
I'm not on any wavelength. I'm out.
These nuts. Got him.
I got a lot of things going on. Right now. I'm all over the place, so. But I'll get those effing tickets. I can promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll get them. You know. I mean, I could. Well, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, we'll be all right. We'll make it work.
We'll be all right.
We'll be great. We'll make it work.
I'll be there.
It is just frustrating when you're sitting there. And
I know. I was in.
Yeah,
I was in. Next in line, you're in.
Locked and loaded.
No tickets. How am I in?
I tried St. Louis. And I was like, Omaha. They got tickets in Omaha, Steven.
I'm not going to St. Louis. I'd have gone to Omaha.
Right. Yeah.
So whatever.
It's just reactionary.
I know. It's just like I always want what I can't have, but I'll get it. You know. That's how we roll. Man, that game sucked last night. I'm so tired of the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets being shoved down our throats. I really am. Those are two miserable franchises that I don't want to see anymore. And at least one of them, it seems, is always on prime time. And I wish that they could be eliminated from our viewing pleasure. There's no reason to watch. There's no reason to watch those two teams.
It's kind of fun to see them suck.
It's over. I've seen it enough. It's like, okay. It's like,
yeah, fair enough.
So what now?
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, who cares? Like, I just don't. We've
now seen it 6 straight times in their own home.
It's just not compelling anymore.
That was an easy bet last night.
Well, yeah, they're terrible.
Right.
They're terrible.
Average lost like 20 points at home.
Yeah. So, I don't really have much to say about that Monday night football game. You know, if you love to hate watch the Cowboys, but I mean, even that, like I said, that gets old, and that wasn't even fun. 34-10. Like how do you hang through that and watch that in the second half? I don't know, unless you got something riding on it, like Jake. I mean, that's such a just compare and contrast to what Sunday Night Football was and how great that was. Compared, I mean, because even though the Bengals were losing, they're competitive. You know, Joe Burrow puts on a show. Do you realize he has 27 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions, and he's thrown for over 3,000 yards?
MVP numbers. And
he would be the MVP, right. But they lose every close game possible. I think they're like 1-6 in one-score games. Something wild. You know, I mean, that's much different The records aren't that much different. The Bengals are 4-7 and the Cowboys are 3-7, but the Bengals are in every game. And watching Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase when you're not playing them, it is fun because they're terrific. But man, they lose every close game. But the games are compelling and the games are exciting till the very end. And you think, okay, how's Cincinnati going to blow this one? The Cowboys can't even get to the fourth quarter to make it compelling.
Quick check of the Bengals scores. Looks like you were right. 1-6.
Thank you, my friend.
You know, that's rough. That's rough and tough. You know?
Yeah, it's that Bengals defense letting them down.
They ain't going to the playoffs, I'll tell you that. They ain't going. You know, and look, it also, like the last couple of weeks we talked about that, who's going to nab that 7 seed, somebody had to emerge, and it's been Denver. Even though Denver lost that game to the Chiefs, boy, did they bounce back, and they just humiliated Atlanta, and Bo Nix threw for 4 touchdown passes, you know, and that's the team. They at least they look it, you know, and they got a full game lead over the Colts. And I'm gonna tell you this again: don't give up on the Dolphins because their schedule cooperates, and they're just a much different team than with Tua. And look, it took a 61-yard field goal for Buffalo to beat them, or we'd really be talking about Miami having a chance. And so, the Colts, every time I watch, I mean, look, that was a nice win, but it took everything they had to beat a team that's dead in the water in the Jets, right? But man, you know, Tua and the Dolphins, on the right day, they can give anyone hell. And like I said, you got to look at the schedules. I think the Dolphins have a chance to go on a nice run, and they're going to be a factor. But the Broncos seem like right now, because they have a quarterback, because their defense is so good, they have some nice weapons at running back and wide receiver. They seem to be the most complete team out of those teams battling for the 7 seed. Because I think the first 6 seeds they're in. Lock them up. Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans, Chargers, Ravens. Them's playoff teams. And then after that, Broncos, Colts, Dolphins. Sorry, Bengals. I'm not grouping you in there. You know, you got to show me something else. Bengals, I can't believe it. Now, that is, I do take joy in watching that. But it's also entertaining because they put up a fight. Cowboys don't put up a fight. They just lay down.
Yeah.
You know. That is they may have been in the past, but that is no glory hole for Jerry Jones, who absolutely took over the Netflix broadcast of the Tyson Paul fight on Friday. One of the few bright spots of that broadcast, when Jerry Jones was talking about the NFL's partnership with Netflix into a dead microphone while the stream was glitching.
Oh,
and
man,
he didn't realize the microphone was dead, and he was just talking away. You know, it was like, and I tell you, this is going to be a great partnership with the NFL. We think that it's going to be a fantastic venue. And then
but it is the absolute glory hole.
And Michael Irvin, no, Jerry here. Oh, thank you, Michael. We believe the NFL and Netflix is going to be a great partnership.
Absolute glory hole.
I thought it was really funny as he was talking about the partnership. The microphone was dead,
and the stream's glitching the whole time.
You know,
that was a nightmare, man.
I didn't have that. I didn't have too many problems with my stream. Like I enjoyed it.
I really think it's because you're on a device. I think anybody who's watching it on a television with whether it be Apple TV, Fire Stick, or Roku, I think that was the issue.
There were a lot of things to like. I mean, Jerry Jones took over the broadcast.
Got a little cheeky.
Yeah, Shaq O'Neal was like super high. super stoned. Tyson showed his ass before the fight. And I don't know how to take it. But we were watching that, and she goes, "Oh my God!" She goes, "That's something you do." I said, "Is it?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, it is." Yep, you're right. That's why he loves me.
My son was in the basement watching with a buddy of his, and theirs worked, but the picture quality was terrible. We were upstairs trying to watch it, and we couldn't watch any of it. It buffered every 10 seconds. I finally gave up because it was.
I never give up.
It was unwatchable.
Well, what I found, you had to just like rewind it, like go back about a minute, and then start it from about a minute behind.
You know what? We did that, and we started watching, and we got done with the co-main, which was great, and then all of a sudden the entire thing restarted.
Yeah.
And see, people would have listened to me on Friday. They would have enjoyed what happened besides the glitches because I told you how to watch that.
Yeah.
You watch it. The co-main is going to be one of the fights of the year.
I enjoyed the fight before the co-main.
And the main event, Mario Barrios.
Yeah.
And the main event is an exhibition that's going to be sparring. It's not really a fight. Derp. Who'd have thunk it?
But you got to listen to Rosie Perez.
No. I never want to hear her again in my life. Ever.
So soothing tones of her voice.
Not ever. No, it just pissed me off. It pissed me off because that broadcast crew was so biased against Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
There would be an exchange. Katie Taylor would land 2 punches. Oh, great shot by Serrano. I'm like, what? I look at Sue. I go, what? Am I crazy? I mean, forget that Rosie Perez is close friends with Serrano, and forget that MVP, the promotions company that put on the fight, their fighter is Serrano. Forget all that stuff, and forget that they were all told to commentate in favor of Serrano.
You're crazy.
You know what? Don't forget that because that's what happened. But in boxing, a commentating crew can influence who's watching it so much, and it'll make you crazy. If you go back and watch that fight with no commentary, which I recommend, you'll have a much different view and a much different perspective of that fight. I can promise you that. And HBO used to be guilty of that sometimes with house fighters for HBO.
Yeah.
You know?
They would.
I mean, you'll hear it. I thought I was crazy. A couple times Katie Taylor come in there, bam, big shot by Serrano. I go, she didn't throw a punch there.
I mean, I was fortunate because I was listening to them during the Barrios fight, and I was like, I can't handle this.
And she threw and Serrano did throw a lot more punches, but a lot of them were hitting arms and gloves, and CompuBox stats suck.
Yeah.
Because that's just a guy back there hitting buttons. They're nah, niet. Not accurate. I'm off my soapbox. Anyway, can I suggest another show to watch? How about this? Guess what? If anyone, I must be Taylor Sheridan's demographic.
Did you watch it?
If he writes a show, if he has a show, I watch it and I love it. All right?
There's so many of them.
Mayor of Kingstown, love it. Yellowstone, love it. Lioness, love it.
Just started that over the weekend.
Oh, let me tell you.
Wow.
Oh, wait till you get to season 2.
Oh, I only got through 2 episodes.
Episode 1 of season 2. No. First season's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. And then all of a sudden, there's Nicole Kidman. There's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I'm only 2 episodes in the first season.
You wait till season 2, episode 1 of Lioness. But so then last night, I give his new show a try. That debuted Sunday.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Landman. First of all, you got Billy Bob Thornton in a show, then I'm watching it. All right?
He's
Because
an oil
he's
man.
going to drink and smoke.
And cuss.
And just do whatever.
Oh, it looks great. I just haven't had time to get to it yet. I mean, I know.
John Hamm.
Yep.
Demi Moore all of a sudden doing something. Michael Pena. I watched the first episode last night, and let me tell you, I'm in.
It's on the list.
I am in. What else am I missing?
Well,
1883.
Yeah.
Or is that the right years?
Yeah,
1923,
1883.
Okay, yeah. Love them.
Great, yeah.
This one's good too.
He was in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
I mean, that. I
But look
love
at the
that
movies.
show.
You know, he wrote Sicario.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hell or High Water.
Yep.
Wind River.
He's the best. He's really on fire.
How many of these things has Nate never seen?
All of them.
Have you seen
He doesn't even know who Taylor Sheridan is.
I saw the first episode of Yellowstone.
Do you know who Taylor Sheridan is?
I assume it's the guy that wrote all those shows.
I mean, he was an actor.
Yes.
Turned.
No.
He was an actor,
writer, director.
The story goes he asked for a raise on Son of Anarchy, and the showrunner told him, you know what, you probably deserve a raise, but you're the 11th actor on the call sheet, and if I have to give you a raise, then I got to give a raise to the 10 in front of you, and you're not getting a raise. And so and Taylor Sheridan, so the story goes, decided, you know what, I don't want to be the 11th actor on the call sheet, and so he devoted himself to writing, and he is. There's nobody that churns out.
Nah.
And guess what? If you don't like him, you don't like him. If you don't like action and suspense and everything else,
drama.
But man,
he's clearly successful at it.
Oh,
yes.
dude,
wildly.
Yeah.
Like Mayor of Kingstown is and he has that relationship with Jeremy Renner. But Mayor of Kingstown's fantastic. Like I can't tell you what my favorite show is of his. I have no idea. I couldn't possibly tell you. Don't know.
I've seen previews for the new one you're talking about. It's about the oil industry.
Yeah.
Like the oil.
Billy Bob Thornton has had it. Yeah. He just needs a beer and a cigarette or something.
Wouldn't want your life today.
He's had it, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want your job today. You wouldn't want my job any day. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a landman. That's why. It's the formula.
You can't handle being a landman.
Susan's watching. We're gonna love it. I go, I love you. I probably go, do you love this as much as I do? She goes, hell yes. Because she loves Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to meet Billy Bob Thornton a couple years ago, get a picture with him. Such a nice man, you know. Billy Bob, sir, we love your movies. Well, thank you. May we have a picture with you? Well, come on up here. Come on, sit right here. You know, it's like, he's awesome. I had him on, back when I used to do the FM show on 97.3 The Planet, when his band came to town, I had him on the air, and he was like on for 20 minutes with us. And I go, can I ask you? Ask me whatever you want. And so we just, you know.
Yeah.
He was very seductive.
It sounds like it.
You know what? Let's talk to Lance Leipold. I know that's very seductive to you after.
Oh, man, I had a good time watching that game last Saturday night.
Back-to-back wins over ranked teams.
I watched that game at the Sandbar in Lawrence, and it was jumping.
What's that?
It's
a great spot.
Yeah, it's a great.
Tell me, describe it.
It's a dive bar.
It's owned by David Johanning, former Jayhawk basketball player, big time KU guy.
I used to drink there way too much.
Who were you there with?
I was there with my wife Kelly and a gentleman by the name of Greg Gurley.
I'm glad you specified what your wife's name is. When you said which one, Kelly or Joanna? So were you like?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, we had a good time.
They have like tropical drinks. It's like a
Is that
bar.
why Gurley's there?
There's
Shark Attack was.
Yeah, they're like rum runners and shark attacks and things like that. And
it's like a bar you'd see at the beach.
It's called a Sandbar. Okay. It's the best good time bar in Lawrence. Like everybody's just having a good time.
They're playing Buffett and.
Will Lance know about it if I ask him?
I don't know. I'll show you some videos of like when they won the game. Whole place was going nuts, and David Johanning's playing the stand-up and cheer fight song and all that stuff, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Let's take a break. Let's talk to Lance Leipold after this on Sports Radio 810 WHP. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. Let's talk to Kansas head football coach Lance Leipold. Coach, good morning. How you doing? Everything good, Coach?
Yeah, I was there. Everything's good. How you guys doing?
You know what? Doing well, but not as well as you are after back-to-back wins over ranked teams. But first, I want to ask, I know that you get a kick out of how, I don't know if you've seen videos of Kansas fans celebrating after that win. I was just showing a video. I would just like to know how you feel about this, of Nate Bukaty, who looked to be in very good spirits, and Greg Gurley celebrating the win at the Sandbar. Are you familiar with that establishment at all?
I've heard of it, never have been there.
Well,
so
now that you know who hangs out there, you probably won't ever go there. But I don't know.
If Nate was hanging with Greg Gurley, I'm sure they had a good time.
That's big time stuff right there. I can tell you that.
It is definitely.
And so that was a great win, ending BYU's undefeated season. But these are some of the things that we don't hear about too much, and that's why I want to start off and ask you about this. That was a late game, and while people are celebrating, you have to worry about getting your team back to Lawrence. How difficult was that travel schedule after that late game to get back to town?
Yeah, it's as we know, television kind of in the networks kind of run a lot of things in college athletics today, and getting that late kickoff and preparing, for that and making sure guys are rested for kickoff and whatnot. And then afterwards, everyone's excited and the locker rooms celebrating and everything, and then trying to get everybody on the bus and loaded on the plane. We're still sitting on the tarmac at 2 a.m. Mountain Time, 3 a.m. Central, and haven't taken off yet, and then have to turn around and start preparing for Colorado. By the time we landed and got back to Lawrence, it was after 6 a.m. So we got to be smart and get our guys back and get prepared for another huge challenge. But it's difficult, but it's the way of college football today.
There were a lot of big moments in that game, and I know you said many times that a game can come down to 3, 4, 5 plays will decide it. I thought it was a pretty big deal that marathon drive that BYU started the game with, over 10 minutes, 17 plays, you held them to a field goal, and that felt like with that drive so long, holding them to 3 was a win, and it took a little wind out of BYU sails. Tell me, watching that drive, but then being able to hold them to 3, what impact you thought that had on the game?
Yeah, it was, like you say, more and more you hear people talking about the middle 8 minutes of a football game, the 4 minutes before the half and the first 4 minutes coming out the second half. And for them to drive down like they did right before the half and us get the interception in the end zone by Mello Dotson was huge for us. And then that opening second half drive by them to go 10 minutes and have to settle for a field goal, I think was a huge factor in both those ways for momentum, because if they score right before the half and get the ball coming out, I think we're sitting in a different situation as far as confidence and things go. So to hold them to that field goal, not too often do teams drive the ball 10 minutes and have to settle for 3. So we definitely were bending but didn't break, and then we started to get more stops as we did the rest of the half, and I thought our defense played a fine second half.
Yeah, overall, Coach, the performance by the defense, I mean, where would you put that in terms of defensive performances you've had over the last couple of years?
It has to be near the top, probably, Nate. When you look at it, total yards and obviously points given up, I thought, it was a great effort. Getting the stop to end late in the game there for us to get the turnover on downs was huge. We forced them to punt multiple times in the second half. So again, it was a great effort by our guys, and which was much needed in a low scoring affair.
Well, one of the things we've spent a lot of time talking about this year, Coach, is this oblong football and how you never know which way it's going to bounce, and sometimes it bounces your way, sometimes it doesn't. You've had your fair share of bad bounces this year. That punt, obviously, that turned the game around. I would just love to go back to what was going through your mind as you watched that play unfold.
Well, the biggest thing is when I saw their player dive for it. To me, I wasn't quite sure if it had hit Quentin Skinner first, because if it hits us first, they just have the free opportunity to take a risk to go get it. So, I didn't know if it had hit him or their player first, and was it going to be our ball or was it going to be theirs at the spot where it first touched the player. And when Quentin came off, he didn't know if it had hit him or not. He was unaware if it was. And here we are, you're sitting there trying to see as the officials are talking, you're trying to get both sides of the ball ready to go depending on the call. But then one of the officials on the side said that it came back and it touched them first, and it would be our ball. And it was, obviously a huge momentum shift for us.
Lance Leipold is our guest, and Coach, the quick kick by Jalen Daniels. I listened to one of your press conferences, and you talk about how you work on that every Thursday, but that's something you've only used maybe a handful of times in your coaching career. Tell me about that, about working on that every Thursday. And obviously you had no idea it would work out that well, but that was clearly one of the biggest moments of the game. But that's something that you work on every week.
Yeah, there's a few things that we kind of go through in our Thursday routine. There's been times where we thought we were going to use it. We've actually practiced it in Tuesdays and Wednesdays if needed, depending on what because so much, especially, Stephen, as weather changes and different things happen and where you are in field goal kicking and versus field position and possessions of a total game, you get in that no man's land area of, are you going to go for it on fourth down, try to a long field goal, or pooch punt it down there? And for us, sometimes you get in there. We had the sack on third down. We were going to go for it, and then we started. Then as we were trying to get things ready, I called the timeout, and we looked at it. I just thought here was a chance for us to still line up in the formation and pooch it down there and try to play field position the second half, and it worked out in our favor.
So, Stephen, when I went up to Lawrence to do the interview with Coach Leipold for the Jayhawker podcast last week, there's three big words on the walls in the rooms there: pride, relentless, and believe. And we talked about the word relentless, Coach, and you told the story about how when you were at Nebraska, that was a big word, and that was one that you really wanted to hold on to. And again, this game, was this another example of your team being relentless through the course of an entire 4 quarters?
I definitely think so. I'm really proud of our guys, as I've been saying for weeks now, even when things weren't going our way, of how they persevered through tough times and continued to work hard. And as you always say, you just don't know when things are going to flip. You'd mentioned the bouncing of the ball and things. There's times as we've come off pretty dejected after games, wondering where we're short, why is it happening this way? And all you can kind of tell is just keep working at it and going, and if things can flip on you. And here we've been able to put 2 wins together. Now we got another huge test coming, but overall, yes, the way our resolve, the way we're battling to the end, and it's indicative of what this conference is truly become as far as the parity across the board and how you line up. And each and every week, if you stay after it, you'll have a chance to win.
I've heard a lot of people comment about this kid, but I'm interested in your perspective. How difficult is it what Travis Hunter is doing, the amount of plays that he registers and the high level that he plays at both wide receiver and corner? We just don't see that.
You don't anymore, and credit to Colorado and Coach Prime for how they put that together. They've come up with a system of, I'd heard a year ago a little bit on how he works a little bit early in the week and how much practice time they put on him. And you look at the hours, and I know, like, we've got our meeting starting here in 20 minutes of when you're going into game plans and coverages and whether it be installation of plays and things, how they divide that up it would be really interesting to watch for him to be ready to and be in tune to everything that's going on. And it's really a tribute to the young man and not only his athletic ability, but what he's been able to do physically, what he's able to do mentally, and put it all together and have the type of season and career that he has.
This is one of the best quarterback matchups in the nation on paper. When you look at the talent that these two quarterbacks have and the playmaking ability, I'm curious, when you watch Shedeur Sanders, what stands out to you from his game that maybe separates him from some of the other quarterbacks you faced?
Well, there's so much to it that I think, is there. Number one, he's got great physical size, his ability to avoid the rush. They've improved their play offensively, but he avoids and extends plays extremely well, first of all, and he doesn't get rattled through that process. Next one is his arm strength. And, he's got an extremely strong arm, and then his accuracy. He's completing over 70% of his passes, I believe, on the season. He's got a lot of weapons. So, I wasn't sure. We really hadn't had a lot of crossover games this season with them as some of our opponents. But as I've gone through his games from this year, every game he becomes more impressive to me on what he's been able to do and how he's progressed through his career. And he's a really fine quarterback and understandably a first-round pick.
Have you spent much time around Coach Prime, whether it be at Big 12 media days or anything like that?
I had a chance to meet him in our spring meetings in Arizona. I had a chance to have a short conversation with him, and then followed up at another passing through. Had a chance for him and to talk with him and my wife, and then at media day we had a chance to interact. And he's one of the first coaches I've seen. Have a lot of respect for what he's done. I said it yesterday. I said there's a lot of things about Coach Prime that gets talked about, but one thing I think that doesn't is that when he started his coaching career, he was coaching high school football. Then he went to Jackson State, FCS, HBCU with not a lot of resources, and then earned the Colorado job. And I think he's come up through it differently than sometimes people might really imagine. And he's had to do a lot with less. And to be as successful as he has and rebuilding that program as quickly as he has is truly impressive.
What's the key for your defense to slow their passing attack down? Because they attack, they get their guys in space, put a lot of stress on the defensive backs. You have some excellent players back there, but maybe what are some unique things you see from their offense?
Yeah, we've got to keep them out of normal down and distance things. We've got to be able to make it more predictable in downs, as you said, Stephen. They have a lot of playmakers that can make people miss in space, and we have to make sure that we continue to drive on the ball, tackle well, and of course create pass rush. When you can do those things, sometimes it makes them play a little bit in the predictable downs, and hopefully we can create some disruption. Their running game is one they've been successful at times. They use it as a good mix-up, but they want the ball out. They want the ball out in space for their playmakers, and it'll be a huge challenge for us because they're really in rhythm right now.
I know you talked about this in your press conference, but I was interested to hear what you said, and I wanted to ask you about it today. It's senior day. It's different because it's at Arrowhead, but you have a lot of seniors, and I know that sometimes it can be – and you see this in basketball, you see this in football. It can be very overwhelming for a kid and emotional, and sometimes that can drain them before the game even starts. How do you have that balance where you want to honor them, you want them to be recognized for helping change the program and do everything that they did to get Kansas to where they are right now and turn this program around, but at the same time keep them focused and keep them, on the path to doing what you're supposed to do, and that's winning a football game?
Yeah, we try to keep it in check the best we can. We want them to have that moment with their family and loved ones before the game, but at the same time, we got to turn the page then after those introductions and get ready for kickoff. Talk about preparation and everything through the week. We'll talk about it some at the hotel Friday night. But it's a balancing act in today's world, especially with the guys that are still going through, whether it be from the time that, we had so many of these guys arrive during the COVID year, and they look back at all the things they had to do during those times, a coaching change, other things that have come along the way. There's a lot of things that when you stop and think about it that can cause a lot of emotions with these guys. The guys that have stayed through this, it's a special time for them. You know, we're still dealing with guys that have, you know, may have more years of eligibility and going through things with guys that they've graduated with. So there's a lot of things to work through, but try to keep it all in check and all in balance. And as I've said, the best way for them to have a great senior day is go out and play their best football and make it a memorable day.
It's one of the best matchups in college football this weekend. Coach, good luck. Your chance to win 3 straight against ranked teams, and that's something else. I think that was the first time that Kansas won back-to-back games against ranked teams, and you've already done something that nobody else has done, so you can continue to add to that. And so good luck this Saturday. It should be a fantastic game.
Appreciate it, guys. It'll be a great challenge. Hopefully we'll have a great crowd to support these guys that have done so much for Kansas football through the years. Looking forward to a great game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Rock Chalk.
That's Lance Leipold. So,
have we figured out our plans
don't
here?
Put pressure on me. I mean, weren't you like the
weren't you the one shooting the texts out?
Yeah.
I mean, have we? I don't know.
I've
never heard any follow-up from anyone on anything.
The most important part here is, do we have tickets?
Yeah.
I've been told we just need to get a number, you know.
Phone number?
No, like a number of tickets.
Well, I need to know where these tickets are.
Oh, you want details? Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are they indoor or outdoor?
Well, now we want suite tickets.
That's what was said from the beginning.
I thought we wanted sideline passes.
We got sideline passes.
Said he's in. If you
stand on
need
the
a number,
you stand on the sideline, then you walk back into the suite.
So right now we got Lebo, you two.
Wait. Sideline passes, you can stay on the sideline the whole game?
I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
I don't know what's possible
I
here.
thought suite, sideline passes go, hey, hang out, and then go back to the suite. That was my expectation.
It's an awesome expectation.
It's the most outrageous thing for me to request from
No, it's not. You're in the.
How is that outrageous?
You're the guy who called their basketball game.
Do you know who the hell you are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know who the hell I am?
I know who the hell you are. Yes.
Who the hell am I?
When do I ever request anything from Greg Gurley except his friendship?
Right. Me, on the other hand, I've always got my hand out.
Well, we know that.
Yeah. Mark wants to know that you spent all this time on Saturday with Gurley and nothing came out of it.
No, we talked about it. I don't remember suite access being part of the
exactly
request.
What the first request was. Suite tickets. I'm spoiled. Spoiled rotten. Listen. No, what would be outrageous is if I texted Coach Leipold and asked for that. That's outrageous.
Is it?
Yeah. That's why I haven't done it. I will, but it would be outrageous. It's not outrageous asking Gurley. Okay, I'll show you outrageous, but I don't want you to see that side of me. All right?
Am I texting him that like we need suite tickets?
I'm just saying, is it in a? No, which suite is it? That's the money guy. Like, what are we talking about here? I don't get it. See, if this was just for him and his frat buddies, he'd be asking for suites and all kinds of stuff.
Locker room passes.
It's us. Then,
Me?
You want some upper levels? Get you to the corner.
Well, I sent him a text.
Are sideline passes like for the whole game? Like,
I don't know.
I didn't know that.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so.
No, sideline pass like before the game. Go out there and shake hands.
I see.
Pre-game passes.
I want to walk over and just,
How many
pat
do
Coach
we want?
Prime on the ass or something. I don't know. Shake hands with Lance Leipold. Walk around. I don't know.
Got to do a head count here.
I feel like I need to be able to tell him. He told me what he said to me was, "Let me know how many you need."
Well, let's take a break and we'll talk. Let's get a head count, a proper head count.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got. I'm all fired up for this game now. And now you're gonna pull the rug out.
I'm ready to pull the rug out because there's minimum expectations for me.
At any moment,
I'm already disappointed in this.
I thought you were going to be in New York, Nate.
Yeah,
we discussed all this. I did too.
Everyone knows that listens to the show. Lebo knows. Jake knows. It was sweet.
That wasn't what I put in the original text to him.
Because you don't listen to me. That's why.
I'm going back and looking right now.
Add to the list of people that don't listen to me. We'll take
well,
what?
You said field passes and best seats available.
Right. Well, best seats
Hey,
available.
what's the best
would
seats
be
available?
Suite.
Okay, all right.
Premium.
Okay.
Premium suites. Premium seats. I don't know.
All right.
Jake, what do you want? Say something. You deserve to say what you
I'll
want.
just ride the coattails. I'm going to ride your wave, buddy. I'm going to ride right behind you.
Dude,
whatever you want,
here's the
I
deal.
want.
This is what
I
I've
want
learned.
what you want.
Here's what I've learned, okay?
I've learned that's
All
the right thing to want.
If you don't ask for it, you ain't going to get
That's
it.
right. That's right.
That's the one sure way. If you don't ask for something, you won't get it.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all I can tell you.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't
Right.
take.
That's all I can tell you.
And what is true is that Gurley's got every, he is the man. He struts around.
He's got
Lawrence.
his hand in almost everything.
Yeah.
Literally.
Wow. You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
We'll be right back
Got
after
it in
this.
the old honey pot.
We'll be right. Well, is he listening?
No,
What's
he's
the honey
not.
pot?
He's not listening. Because I don't think he listens to us anymore. I don't know what's the
I wouldn't if I was him.
I don't think he wakes up this early.
Back after this on WHP.
In the Power and Light District, just steps from T-Mobile Center. Find them online at PresidentKansasCity.Hilton.com. The Hilton President's Hotel, the official hotel of New Day with SSJ.